Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, and perhaps even good evening. Thank you so much for dropping by and joining me for another exciting session of what could be 3D shenanigans. Disclaimer, I don't really know what I'm doing, so let's see if we can work it out together. Mr. Brian is here. The Chris is here. That is already really good to know. With Chris in the audience, maybe we can make this thing happen. Who knows? The Yoshi is here. Camilla is here. And the Nancy's art is here. Julia is in the crowd, which is always wonderful. Mr. Brian is here. I've seen somebody else. I've seen the Madness Middles, of course, and I also have seen Animate, and I think the Nico 1967 is also here. Wonderful to see you all. So I have I was going to prepare something, but then things went a little bit wrong this morning in that I didn't have any connection to my mouse and keyboard, which is, weird, but it happens sometimes. So let me see if I can find what it is that I have prepared. Can I just go load that in? Yes, I think I can. If I go and also go recent, and then I go to, hang on, this, and I say that, and I say that. And I also say, maybe I'll go and do this. Yes, there we go. Also, Christina is here. How exciting. Good to see you, Christina. So my plan this morning is to recreate this dress here that I've made with Marvelous Designer recently for Victoria 9, and I've made this from a pattern that I bought on Etsy. I found that and I thought, hey, that's cool. I'm going to try and recreate that. So the colors here are just the material zones, just so that you can visualize that. This is like the pretty preview here. That looks like super pretty now. And yeah, so this is made for a real life sewing pattern, or this is made for that you can sew it in real life. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So this is this piece here that's made of 3 pieces. These are 2 pieces here. Then we have 1 piece at the back. The skirt was actually made of 4 pieces. And then we have this volant type thing at the bottom. And I'm going to use many of the tips and tricks that I've learned from Mr. Fugazi on his channel. So it's going to be really cool to recreate this. So some things didn't go great, and I'm thinking I can probably improve on the fit a little bit, but I'm going to try to use basically anything and everything that we've learned on the Daz Plus streams, as well as from Fugazi's channel about the steam tool, and also about adding invisible pieces on the outsides here that will create this kind of line here. So this indentation that happens in Marvelous Designer when there is a seam line, and we don't have stitches, so I don't know if I'm going to do materials today or not, but these lines, they happen because like on the internal pieces here, they happen because those are 2 pieces and they're sewn together, and Marvelous Designer puts normal on the map. But on these outside pieces, they don't happen normally, so we have to basically create an invisible piece on the outside that we use a sewing line on, and then we just make that dangly piece invisible, but then we have that nice little edge on the outside there without having to worry about this too much. If you want to follow along, let me just go and dig that pattern out that I didn't have a chance to prepare. So it's by Kiana Bonolo on Etsy, and I'll give you that link right now. This is her shop. She has a ton of good patterns, and she is passionate about sewing. This is the one that I'm making. So I'll show you. I will link to that. And that's a video here. Perfect. Let's go on. But plenty of stills. And this is, I like that dress, and I thought, hey, that's kind of cool. So she made it, she designed it. She's a clothing designer, and she has put this pattern up on Etsy. So $12. I thought that is really good creator support. There, this is the pattern. It's a very long link. Let's see if we can recreate that from scratch. Also, very important, let's go and put a little bit of music on this morning, so that we have nice chilled out piano music in the background. I always like that. DZ is in the chat. That is so cool. DZ, if you didn't know DZ, do you have a shortcut to Mr. DZ? Let me see. Does it work here, or does it only work on the other bot? Come on, fingers crossed. No, it doesn't work. Oh, DZ, what a shame. Brian, if you can dig out a link to DZ's in the house, if you can dig out a link to his Renderosity store, that would be marvelous, because DZ is a master when it comes to making clothing for, especially for the Genesis male figure. So very, very cool to have him in the house. So lots of Marvelous Designer professionals in the house. I do like that. And now we're going to go change this from here to there. There's always something else, isn't there? I found 2 new audio things in my Windows installation. I don't know what they are. Steam streaming microphone and Steam streaming speakers. I have no idea what that is, where that came from, why that is even there. All I can tell you is that I'm not sure if I'm ever going to be using that. Can we hear it? I can hear it. We don't want it to be too loud, but we want something in the background. Note to self, don't click links when using iPhone. Yes, very, very important. Do not do that. Okay, let's go. And one other thing, I'm going to go and close Marvelous Designer down, because I think there was an update this morning that I didn't install. I just wanted to grab that screenshot and then we can be on our way. This was the thing that I've made. I'll show you the pattern quickly, and maybe I'll actually combine it in Photoshop here. I've added that into here, I think. Fit and flare dress. I might make another folder of that in a second. Those are the patterns here. So if I go and open, those are the 2 patterns here. And I'm just going to go and bolt them together so that they are basically one piece. And then I can just go and import that as one piece in Marvelous Designer. And then we go ahead and do that. I'm going to go at, I suppose, make the height 6,000. Like so. Nope, that was the wrong way. As very often I do that. I just want to extend it to the side, that like I suppose to here then. Height 6,000, and then that happens like that. Yes, indeed. Goody. And now I go and place the other pattern in there. That goes kind of at the bottom here. So it's a continuous large piece. And I suppose it's not entirely super lined up here. I don't really know why. Do we need to know? Maybe we don't. It looks like it's a little smaller than the other one. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay. It's just that these parts for the dress here, dude, seriously, there. These parts, they need to be one piece. So this makes it easy for me to just cut out one piece. So it's not that easy to read these sewing patterns if you've never seen them before, but the idea here is that they're made for different sizes of the human body. So this one here is the smallest one, and then this one out here is the largest one, and those are the sizes in between. So you in real life sewing, you would go and see what size are you, and if you're size whatever 14, then you'd pick this pattern. If you're size 18, you'd pick this pattern. If you're size 8, pick this pattern, and so forth. So I'm gonna go and I'm just going to use the smallest one, because it's just a guessing game for me at this point. So that's number one. Number two is that some of these patterns need to be cut out more than once. So these two pieces here, they're going to go on the bottom of the skirt. One goes on the front, one goes on the back. And then so we only need once, but then other pieces like this one here, we need more than once. And if you look really closely, it actually shows you that there's like cut 2 for the shell and cut 2 for the lining. So that we don't need. We only need 2 for the shell, that's the outside, and the lining is the inside. So we don't need the lining, but we need 2 of this piece. And then we need 1 of this piece that goes in the middle here. Cut 1 on the fold and 1 for the lining. Same here, cut 1 for the fold. Actually, this probably needs to be unfolded. So we'll work that out in Marvelous Designer. But this is my pattern, and I can go and export this out as a JPEG now. And it probably doesn't need to be 6,000. I might just go and do that. I'll go and create myself a brand new folder, just so that I don't get confused with what I've already done. So I'm going to go and create another one here and call it Fit and Flare V2. copy that because Marvelous Designer and Daz Studio have this habit of forgetting that directory that I was just in. So one of those things. You found it. Awesome. Good stuff. Yes, exactly. Watch Jay fight with the seam allowance. So yeah, disclaimer, this is not a tutorial. I'm battling my way through here and I'm taking you along for the ride. I'm not showing you anything, you know, that I'm really not a practiced magician in this software like so many others like DZ or Christina or Chris. In fact, we don't really need that anymore, do we now? And we don't need this anymore either. No, good stuff. Perfect. Don't think we need Photoshop anymore either. Oh, by the way, before I forget, this morning I got a notification from my friends at NVIDIA. If you have the GeForce Experience app installed, they give you a 1 month free of the Adobe Creative Cloud. If you already have a membership, that will extend your membership by 1 free month. So that works. If you're on something like a Photoshop only subscription, it'll just, you know, give you that in addition. So yeah, if you have GeForce Experience installed, just open it up and have a look here under where is it? Under somewhere. So redeem. There we go. You go to your name and then you hit redeem and then you find this. You might also find this, but you know, you might not. So this is definitely there, which is nice, isn't it? Yoshi, that's the spirit. Exactly. Having fun is exactly what this is about. Having fun is exactly what it's about. And you know, if it is fun, great. If it isn't, we'll play Subnautica. Ha 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 ha. How about that? Oh, there we go. Yes. Fix the crash when creating seam sewing relationship with 3D free sewing issues all have been solved. Let's go do this. Yeah, good stuff. Just remember to save, Jay. Yes, I'll try. Oh, that was quick and easy. I had expected that to be a total nightmare, so I'm glad it wasn't. Just remember to save, Jay. WinFile copy worker.exe. Okay. Good. So this morning, actually, very interesting. I didn't have mouse and keyboard control here at all. And I thought, I'm not entirely sure why. So I tried my Wacom tablet that also didn't have any control. And it turned out that it must have been the cable connecting my main workstation and this room, or the hub or something. So thankfully I have another, like a backup long USB extension that I could use, and that is working now. Don't know why these things keep happening. Mr. Kemi is here. How's it going, buddy? There it is, Marvelous Designer, staring at you, saying, I can do it all, but can you tell me how to do it? And I'm gonna have to say, no, I don't. Marvelous Designer, have mercy with me. I like you. Why can't we be friends? Maybe we can. Let's find out. Let's find out if we can. So I think I'll start by importing my Victoria figure into here so I can make a dress around her. And the best thing to do is, of course, load her in as an OBJ and just bring her in. So that's something that's new about the Genesis 9 figure, by the way, that even though you have the androgynous base shape, you don't necessarily have to use that to make your garment. You can use any avatar you prefer. And I think the trick then is to bring that in and then just reverse it so that your garment kind of looks okay on the base shape. Then you do the rigging. I think that is how it works. But it's super, super new to me as well. So I don't really, I'm not very versed in that either. I will go and use his one here. Def load, we don't need any eyes. The Neville is here. How's it going? Brian, I like that much, much more. Marvelous Disaster. That is very cool. So yes, and for those of you who haven't seen the Genesis 9 figure, this is the new base shape which is a bit like Genesis 1, the androgynous shape. And then if you go and head over to your people here, then you dial things up like the base feminine, like as a suggestion shape, and the base masculine, and also characters like Victoria 9. And so if you think about the Genesis 8 figure, where we have a male and a female base shape, they only look like that because they are already the base shape. But now this is the base shape. But it'll be difficult to model a dress on this shape for me if it's meant for a woman, or in fact if you're modeling male clothing, it'll be difficult to model that. Or it's kind of possible, but it'll fit much better if you use a different shape. So I'm going to use Victoria here, but if I bring this in and it fits this avatar, I can't then use the rigging tool immediately, like the transfer utility. I have to go and shape my outfit back to the base shape so that it looks okay on the base shape on the androgynous one, and then I can run the transfer utility. But I don't think we'll deal with that today. It's just about Marvelous Designer today. So let me go and export her out. In base res or no base res, that is it's not a problem at this point. It doesn't really matter. I'll put her into OBJs. And I'll call you Victoria 9 base. Or like Victoria 9 whole, so that I remember what that was. 100% scale, good stuff. Let's see if that works to begin with. And that is, of course, my this here, fit and flare number 2. And that is that. Perfect. Open as avatar, arrangement points, Daz Studio scale. That's all good. All right. No, it has to be the base shape. And on Genesis 8, it was more intuitive because the base shape of the female was already a female shape and the base shape of the male was already a male shape. But now the base shape is no longer either of these things. So yes, that has some implications. Where did I save my pattern to? I bet that was in the other folder here. Let me go copy that over quickly. Just want to make sure I don't actually have to do that. It's fine. I can probably just find it there. That's fine. So I don't know how big the pattern piece needs to be, but I will start, I think, with a rectangle. Since it's like this by that, I might just make it, I don't really know, maybe 800 wide, and then I might make it 2500 tall, just to see if my pattern piece fits on there, which I don't quite know yet. And then also, does this line up with does it look like all the bits and pieces could fit in there? It kind of does. Let's see. It's an experiment. Graphic 2D pattern goes in there, and that's not where Photoshop saved that. Where did Photoshop save this thing then? Was it on the desktop maybe? No. What a shame. Photoshop, where did you put this thing? Sadly, I've closed it now, so it's difficult to ask. Weird Science Access here. How are you doing, buddy? Top of the afternoon, I say. Good to see you. Yes, let's hydrate each other more. Yes, good idea, good idea. Hydrate each other and the beans. So where would that have been? If I just hit this, where does it go? Because Jay was not paying attention. Jay has a shortcut key set up, and it goes into. Oh, it's in here. So it is in the. Okay, good. Gotcha. Just making sure. It's in the. Whew. Got away with that one. I thought maybe should that be in a patterns folder. I think it should be. just so that J doesn't get confused the next time around. Look, it's actually in here, so I'm just going to go and put it into a patterns folder. There. Okay, good. So graphic. That's it. It's a little bit large, probably way larger than it needs to be. Width 800, the height is about 2100. Oh, good. So I'm kind of okay with my pattern piece here. It probably would require a little bit of scaling this way, but if I make it 800 by 2200, I'll be good. Let's do that instead. 800 by 2200, just so that it fits. And if that is Victoria's size, that is another discussion. But for now, this actually means it fits on this pattern piece that I'm making here. And we'll go center is probably good. And here it is. Just like what I saw in Photoshop. So I'll go and put that slightly away from the edges. There it is. Whoops, sorry, didn't mean to press that button. It's not supposed to simulate just yet. We're just going to cut these pattern pieces out, and then we'll worry about what happens next. So now I have my pattern on a solid piece of kind of fabric here, I suppose, and everything is on here. Now I can go and cut these things out. I think. Let's start with the easier pieces, like the squarey bits here. They just require a rectangle tool, like this one here. That's probably the easiest one. This is going to be the straps. Okay, so we need 2 of those. They are probably much wider than they need to be, because I think in the real world they would probably just be like half the width and kind of fold down. So we can adjust that later. I might just go and make it as wide as it is for now here, and then I'll start fiddling later on. So this is just I don't actually know, sorry, what I do here. I can do this, that's fine, and then just move it away. I probably need 2, but I'll go and duplicate that later. So that was kind of easy. The other ones I can just draw on as well. The front and the back. One's a bit shorter than the other, or I could just go cut them out of the pattern. I might just go and do that by tracing over with the rectangle here. Don't think it has to be all that accurate. We're going to make some adjustments on that anyway. So that's one. And then we have the other one, which is of course here. That's a little longer. Like that. Good stuff. Okay, those are done. Now let's have a look at the more intricate pieces here. Whoops. Start at the top. Dude, seriously. Start at the top. Dude, what the? Start at the top and work your way down. So this is kind of a magic thing now where I'm going to put points and trace the pattern and then literally cut it out of my piece here. So very, very interesting. Right, sewing class at school, right? This is I remember I was in sewing class as well, and I remember we got a homework and it was something about practicing a stitch, and it was something extremely simple. I think it was an apron or something that we made. I don't remember, but we did it all by hand, and by hand, us all being total amateurs with no real interest in sewing, it was all really crooked. So the stitches were all really crooked. And then I came home and the homework was to finish this off. And my mom said, well, you can just use the sewing machine. And I was thinking, the sewing machine, let's do this thing. So I practiced a bit and then finished my piece off in homework, and the stitch looked exactly the same, but it was super straight. And the teacher said, yeah, that's not going to count. You're going to get an F for that. And I said, why? Because I did a good job. And she goes, no, because your mom did this for you. And I said, no, it was me, but I did use a sewing machine. And, you know, my mom said that would just be so much faster and so much easier. And I had a lot of fun actually doing that. And the teacher she just didn't want to know. Mrs. Braun, wonder what happened to her. Actually, I don't wonder what happened to her. You botched a t-shirt in sewing class. Well, there we go. Sometimes, so this is where Marvelous Designer is really quite forgiving, that you can botch things around and you can just do these things and somehow they'll work. And then if they don't fit, you just go and use the steam tool and it's all good. Hey, Mr. Nate, how's it going, buddy? Very, very cool. Good to see you. And hey, I'm going to go and have a look into that smartwatch for you. I hope we can get you one. Let's grab the internal line tool. So G. G is the magic shortcut key to remember. So I'm going to go and try to trace, yeah, which is the correct pattern here. This is the largest one. This is the smallest one. So if we just stick to the smallest one, I think I'll be a happy bunny. Oops. So from here, these are just points. This I find very confusing. I don't really know where this line ends, so I'm just going to pop it straight here into kind of here, and then to here, straight down to some squares here, and then this I'll just put that into the center of this curve. That into here, and that also looks like a curve, and that closes that. Cool. Now to add curvature, that's happening with the C tool. I think that's the edit curvature tool on this menu here, C. And some of these lines can stay straight, but this one here, left click and drag, and then depending on where on the line you move this to, you change how the curve curves essentially. So you can this doesn't need to be curved at all, does it? Oh, it does. At the bottom here, it's a tiny bit of a curve thing here, like so. And like that, perhaps like this, like so. Can we do it with one? No, maybe we can't do it with one. And then this guy needs to curve in like so. Ish. Okay, goody. So the Fugazi showed me another trick, and can I remember what that is? I think edit curve points. Yes, the V tool. I think that can do this. If you click that, then you can go and grab each handle separately and then make fine-tuned adjustments to the curve, to either side of the point. I think I'm okay with that. So if I go back to A to select the whole pattern here, I'm not sure if I'm happy with this curve, but I might not really worry about that too much. Now I can go and cut this piece out. So not cut and sew, just cut. And that now, moments later, should have grabbed that out of my pattern piece. So groovy. First pattern piece. Woohoo! I'll try to put them in the same kind of arrangement that I remember what each piece is. We'll go carry on with the next one. This looks a little bit easier. Internal polygon line tool. Smallest part of the pattern. Yeah, this is another way to do it. You probably don't have to have the curve here. I can just go and make it like this. That might make it a tiny bit easier for me to curve things in a minute. Gives me more points, so it might It might also look a little uglier, but it might make it easier for me to just use the curvature tool. I just curve these pieces the way they need to be, so that they fit together, and also that they fit the figure. Was this curved? No, it's okay this way. Haha, okay. A, cut this out as well. Cut it, pop over here. Gotcha. This is kind of fun though, isn't it? I enjoy this. It's for somebody who's not that creative, / not creative at all with these types of patterns. It makes it really easy to get a starting point. And like the really skilled people like Chris and DZ, they just go ahead and they look at a photo and they think, well, it's probably the pattern, and then they go ahead. And Christina as well. This is what Christina does for a living, designing patterns. It's very, very cool. How are you doing, Christina? If you're still around, how are you holding up? What's your news? Tell us all about it. We had this slight hiccup here with Hurricane Ian, but he passed us by. I heard from Sage this morning. Sage was not so lucky. Yeah, I find this part here very confusing. I don't know where which line kind of goes. So I can only surmise it can't be that important to be that accurate. I'll just do this here. I'll stick to the innermost line. Therapy and a lot of work, so nothing new. That is one thing, Christina, I have always greatly admired about you. And the cool thing is, even though I have told you this before, and if you don't remember that, I'll just tell you this again, because that's it's kind of a good. So this curves up slightly. So I always greatly admired that you and I have the very same work ethic, that no matter how ill you are, you always kept working, and I always did that as well. And that also is partly what sees you through tough periods. That is always something Christina in all her years has still maintained a very, very busy life in addition to all her treatments. So very cool. Sacred Sage has been hit by the hurricane. They're out of power currently, and there's another one of those adjustment things here. He's out of power, and the only thing he says he has is a generator in his dad's garage to charge up mobile phones. But he's been without power and electricity for several days, and he's hoping that that's going to be restored soon. So do we all. So I'm just going to do this only because I can't quite make out where this line actually goes. So this might be wrong, but we're okay. This here, I'm going to adjust the curvature on this end. Not with the C, but with V, edit curve point. Just make that a bit sharper, and then also move that point a little. Maybe then, yes, goody. There, okay. So let's cut that bit out. And I'll move this over kind of here, and this goes here-ish. It's kind of cool. And then we have one more, and I think then we have all the pattern. No, the skirt as well. Good stuff, the skirt. So let's do this one here. Was it G? I think it was G, wasn't it? Yeah, I mean, I could try to do this, but I think it might just be easier for me to do this. This has also got a small curve in here. It's another one of those complicated things. I might do this and that. Okay. Like so. It's one of those big mysteries that I always wondered, how do you get these curves so nicely done, and how do you turn them into a curve? And there's just a tool for that, which is really cool. And I'm not very familiar with Adobe Illustrator, but anyone who has used vector drawing programs, they'll be very familiar with these tools. Like, I'm not really that familiar with the curve tools in Blender either. But it's one of those things that when you're familiar with one, the principles exist in all these other applications too. So this might actually benefit from being here instead. I really like the vector tools in Clip Studio Paint. I really enjoy those, just because they are. Maybe I need an additional point in here. Is that something that's possible? Add an additional point somewhere in here, like so. Oh yeah, it is. Good stuff. Excellent. No, it isn't. Damn you. Okay, I'll leave it straight. It's cool. I'm okay with this. Yeah, so the way you draw in Clip Studio Paint is really funky. That you draw like it was with a regular brush, but then you go and it's actually a vector brush, and you draw freehand, and you don't see a difference, but it's a vector path that it's drawn there, and you can go and modify that afterwards, like make it simpler and shape it. So that's really cool. It takes your drawing to the next level. They've just announced that they're gonna go subscription as of version 2, and I don't really blame them for that either, because they've been a perpetual app for so long, for over 10 years. I don't know how they made cash all that time, because eventually there comes a point where you've saturated the market and everyone's bought it, and how are you going to make money as a company? So one of those things. Habib, top of the afternoon to you. How you doing? Labor of love. That's right. Okay, let's trace the skirt here. I think we actually need this. There's 2 pieces for the top, for the front, and 2 pieces for the back. So I think this we need at least twice. Also, it shows you where the zipper needs to be, so I don't think we're gonna do that. Victoria doesn't need a zipper. For Victoria, everything's just a double click. She doesn't have to deal with buttons and all that. Oops. Man. Trackball. Not always the most efficient tool. And I think this time, so last time I used this piece and then just unfolded it so to get 2 pieces, but I think this time I'm just going to go and duplicate it so that I get the seam line, because it just makes the pattern a little bit more interesting, I'm thinking. Cut. So funny, Christina. Therapy and a lot of work. What else is new? Are you still doing a Blender triage with the bug reports? Are you still involved in that? Just out of curiosity. Actually, also, while I have y'all's attention, and this is a purely hypothetical question at this point, but are any of you interested in product testing, like 3D products, specifically for Daz Studio? Something that just somebody needs to have a look at it and see if if a product works. There's this, totally hypothetical at this point, but I get asked this every once in a while, and I have limited time to do this. But if any of you are interested, then please let me know. I'm happy to put you in touch with people. Obviously, I can't promise anything, but it's one of those things that I do get this question every once in a while. And if any of you are interested, then do let me know. Reach out on the socials, because you got to have the socials. So important. Cut. And those are skirt patterns, and I think that's all then, isn't it? That is now this. We don't really need that anymore. We've got this, that, this, and that. We've got these 2, and we've got those 2, and this we just need 2 of. So I'm just going to make 2 of them, or even just cut it in half or something like that. You're in for the hypothetical? Okay, good. Good, Yoshi. I like it. I like it. Okay, when you're finished with the therapy, you go back to Blender. I mean, that is, yeah, cool. I like it. Specifically, absolutely. Wow, 4,500 assets. Woo. I saw that. I spent quite a bit of cash on the Daz store yesterday, including, oh my god, that is just quick interlude here while Jay saves the project. I just need to show you this because I think it's the first time that I've been able to use a Stonemason set with my new 3090 and the 2080 in combination. Fit and Flare V2. And it is, of course, something. So here's how this happened. Actually, here's how this happened. Stonemason made a Twitter account like 13 years ago, and never tweeted anything up until yesterday when he said, "I've had Twitter for so long. I just only started using it." So it's just so funny that he started following me. He had followed nobody. He just made the account and then just didn't do anything with it. And then he just thought, hey, I'll tweet about my latest project, which is called Wonderland. I don't know if you've seen it already. It looks like the set from Stray. That's what it looks like. Yeah, Stonemason's Wonderland, and it's brand new. It's currently 30% off. And I thought, man, this looks amazing. I didn't even know it existed, but because he tweeted about it, I thought, oh wow, I need to go get that immediately. And that is a little bit bright, perhaps maybe a little bit darker is better. So what's awesome about it is that we'll leave Victoria kind of standing here. She might need to go move herself onto the, whoops. We don't want her to stand on the water. She stands here. But the cool thing is now with my new graphics card, I can actually go and wander through the set almost as if it is real time. So check it out. I'll go and switch this over to iRay. And I think there's a couple of of like options. There's a daylight and a nighttime option here, and the render settings Wonderland by night. Let me go and switch that on because that looks really, really cool. It's literally like in Stray, and it's just too cool. Active viewport, there we go. And then also under filtering, we make denoiser available, and denoiser can kick in from literally one iteration. So check it out. If I go and make this literally like full screen, I can go and wander through the set as if it's real time, you know. This is so obviously there's a little bit of stuff going on when as you move, but the moment you put it down, it's just like woohoo, baby, bring it on. Yes, so Stonemason at his best once again. Wonderland. And if you look at all these little bits and pieces that are in there, so there's an upstairs as well. This is the upstairs here, and I'm sure he would have played Stray, because this is just that inspiration that those types of vibes that you get from the city there are very impressive. Lots of nooks and crannies. Let me go upstairs here. But amazing. So I was super impressed to be able to wander through a Stonemason set like this. So the last time I had that was when I imported one into Unreal Engine. So really sweet performance. And there's water. So just like in Stray when we left the catacombs. So yeah, very nice. Very nicely done. Super awesome, isn't it? Oh, you're thinking Ghost in a Shell? Yes, absolutely. Also, those types of vibes. Generic. I like it. The in motion looks like the Windows 95 screensaver. So true, so true. You already have it, Camilla. I didn't even know it. He made another one. That's, you know, one of the things that slipped through. That slipped through on me. So I bought that, and the other one I bought that I'm interested to check out was Heels Control, I think. Looking forward to playing with that. Those are like Stonemason's famous steam cards. Like, you know, wherever there's a puff of steam, have a look at what that, how he's done that. Those are intersecting planes with kind of a smoky thing on there. Very cheap to render that, so it's very, very nice. But super realistic as well. Vending machine with graffiti on it. What's not to love? Oh, I could just look around and explore these things forever. I don't know how long it takes him to make one of these things. Fantastic. And this is without color correction, so this is just as it comes out of Daz Studio. So then, you know, add your vignette, add your crushed blacks and all that. Tone mapping, maybe a little bit of vignetting. Whoops, maybe not quite that much vignetting, but you know, you get the drift. A little bit of vignetting, and maybe crush blacks even more if you prefer that. Make all kinds of scenes, but don't ruin it like I do. Do it sensible. Whoops. Also nudge value on this. You think you made it less, but it just doesn't work out. So yes, that is Wonderland, and but it was a really nice surprise. I didn't know it existed, so I was super happy to find it. So yeah, pick it up if you don't already have it. It's currently on 30% off because it's a release sale, I think. So quite nice to have. I don't think I'll need this anymore, but I'll keep it around and just go and deactivate it for now. I'm thinking just so that it doesn't, just in case I need to refer to anything that's written on there. because I tend to get confused. So let's go and deactivate. Could have sworn it's here somewhere, but maybe it's in here. Reset 3D arrangement and go deactivate here. Deactivate pattern. Perfect. In fact, reset all the 3D arrangements here, because that kind of halfway fell down. I didn't actually mean for that to happen there. So we can go and take them out and put them on our figure, which I think has arrangement points. Yes, perfect. So she has that. But before we do that, I think we need to go and start by duplicating some of these pieces. So that's going to be slightly tricky. So I know that this and that, these go together and they'll form the front chest piece here. So upper bust and lower bust. So these things, they fit together here. And then there's this and that, and this we need again. So this here fits inside here, like, you know, like this. And then we need another piece like this that we go and copy over here. So I'll go and copy that. And I'm thinking to mirror paste. Did that work? Mirror paste, indeed, like so. And that goes here. Thinking about it. Yeah, so that's that. And then this kind of fits into here, and that goes and fits on the top of that, but we need 2 more pieces of that. So last time I just unfolded them, but I think because I do, then I don't have the sewing lines. I might just go and copy and paste them, and basically copy and mirror paste them. So copy and then mirror paste to here. Copy and mirror paste. Only because I've already tried the unfolding version, and I just thought maybe I'll try something else and see what has a better benefit here. And that is the front, and now we have the back. That's this part here, isn't it? No, actually that's this part here. And the back piece also gets copied and mirror pastes that here. So that's the back. If we can make it happen that all these pieces are in the correct position thanks to the arrangement points, and if I get the sewing right, then that should potentially give us a bit of an indication of how good our size is. So I think I'm gonna go and freeze or like deactivate these pieces here as well until we're ready to get going with that. So can I deactivate them from here? Deactivate pattern only. Perfect. Okay, let's start with just the top here. So that piece kind of goes to here, maybe. Yeah, it's probably a little small, but let's put it into position first, and then we'll worry about the rest of the stuff. Then this here probably goes here, and that I think goes here, or rather here. Well, somewhere there. Let's say here for now. Then this back piece goes here. Yeah, it's too small, isn't it? But that's cool. We can work on that. And then, oh yeah, the straps, of course. This is probably not going to hold without the straps. So did I just deactivate that? I think I did. So this needs to be activated. And it's also a little too wide, isn't it? How wide are we talking? 43. So That's probably even like 1 centimeter is probably enough. So let me go and make a new piece here. Oh yeah, sorry, what's the 10 by 2? Let's say 300. 10 by 300, let's do that. So width 10. Tab, of course, doesn't go into the next position here because that would be too easy. That 10 by 300, then we don't need, whoops, sorry. Then we don't need that anymore. And we just go and paste that as the second strap. Okay, and then this, let's say, goes here. And this, let's say, goes there. So since I can already see it's too small, I wonder how much larger this needs to be, like maybe 50% or so. If we make it kind of 150. So the trick then is that I want to make everything that much larger. So rather than just make a few pieces larger and not others, I'll go and see if I can do that. Let's say 150 in both directions. Doesn't work because one pattern piece is still deactivated. I might just go and delete that. I think it does that when you have deactivated patterns in the scene. Yeah. So let's make sure everything is activated. And then try again. Left click, this is a bit of a weird one as well. If you wanted to scale all this up, and put a numeric value in, so rather than just do it like that, you left click and drag, and while you do that, you right click, and then this dialog comes up. So I'll try 150, and then everything is scaled up. Wow, why you no work? Oh, why? I don't really know. Maybe I'll just do them in stages. See, you can do it. It's just you don't want to. Not always, that is. Bloody marvelous designer. Obey my commands. There, that's 150, and then this here also 150. Okay. That looks like it's going to fit better. We may have to just rearrange them. Oh, you know, speaking of laptops, there is actually, the Deviant told me this yesterday on Twitter, and that was really cool. He suggested a really, really cool laptop, and I need to tell you about this because that is something I thought, wow, exactly what I was kind of looking for yesterday when we talked about laptops. And I think, have I retweeted it? This is the tweet from Stonemason. That's what got me into buying this set. I was thinking, really, how exciting! And this is also where he said my first ever tweet 13 years after joining Twitter. Very cool, super, super nice. There's also one on a post on ArtStation, but yeah, this is where that is on the Daz store. If you're interested in that, super, super nice. Not what I wanted to show you though. Digital Storm, that's the ones, exactly. And he told me this somewhere. No, that's the one, exactly. Digital Storm gaming laptop. So apparently the company make these things, they built them in their workshop, and I thought this is exactly what I wanted. So it comes with an RTX 3080 Ti with 16 gigabytes of RAM on the GPU. It has an Intel i7 12700 processor, so fairly cool. 32 gigabytes of system RAM, and you can pick the amount of storage that you want. You can use SSDs or you can use M2 drives. So I was thinking, yeah, two terabyte Evo 980 drives. Very cool. And if they can somehow make it work with the blue keyboard rather than the red one, I'm all for it. Let me go and post that link into the description as well, because this is a laptop that I'm thinking is probably going to go and work for 3D needs, and I hadn't seen those types of laptops yet, and it's price-wise isn't actually that much. So I was looking last time I found some, they were like 4 or 5 grand, and they were like 5 years old. They were at that point, like the specifications. So that's good news. I was thinking that is very good news. Our price is, so on these base versions here, they have this one for 2,000, which has an RTX 3070 with 8 gigabytes of RAM, and this one here for close to 3 grand has an RTX 3080 Ti with 16 gigabytes of RAM. So very interesting. Okay, yeah, gotcha. It's true. You can get desktop PCs for cheaper than that, but you know. So I'm thinking. So if I ever have to go and make videos while I'm not here, that I need a thing like that. So one of those things I'm looking into. While I'd love to take my workstations wherever I go, that might not be possible. Okay, let me try and put these. Actually, they're probably in the correct-ish position. Let's just sew them up and see what happens. Oops. So back, front, middle, other front. Okay, here comes my favorite part. Let me go and save this just before I screw up the sewing. I don't know if that's gonna work. Right, Habib. Yes, good question. Coughing at the price, but sounds sweet. Yes, I know. It's sometimes the price is a little bit astonishing. But I'm looking at it from a point of view, well, it's actually available. So my worry was you can't even buy it, you know, because all the $400 Lenovo laptops I see, they're just so unsuitable for anything other than a text document and light web browsing. That is, if you wanted to do some 3D work outside the office, it gets really tricky because, you know, so I had feared maybe those types of things don't even exist. So start with segment sewing here. This probably needs to be sewn up at the back here. What does everyone else have? What does everyone have as a graphics card? That'd be a good question. So I've recently bought a 3090 non-TI version that's replaced one of my 2080 cards. So currently I have a 2080 and a 3090 in my system, and that is really, really good. But I also have another system with a 3060 non-TI version with 12 gigabytes of RAM, and that is also very, very good. So those types of cards, they're now just over $300. That's very, very good. Just checking here, this, that's that, and then this here is that. Gotcha. Okay, good to know. For some reason I have real difficulty seeing this sewing machine icon here. So from here then to there, yes, and then likewise from here to there, yes. Then we sew this up here and that. And aside from the straps and this middle piece here, that should do it. Let me go and deactivate this here. Dude, no, don't do that. So deactivate. deactivate pattern, this here, and also deactivate these bits here. Just so that they don't partake in the simulation. And then here this and that go together. So this here. And that, gotcha. Notch to the left. And here, so that's that. And then I suppose likewise this here and that, right? Yes, yes, yes. Good stuff. And then we have the back side, which I have a feeling is probably crossed like from here to probably here. I'm thinking. Yes, indeed. Like that, yes. Yes. Looks like we've got it all. I have a feeling the straps might be a little bit too long, but we'll see how that fares. Okay, are we ready for this? Everything else is deactivated. Okay, go simulation, go simulation. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Yeah, almost. Almost. Yeah, so straps, they might be a bit too long. There might also be this problem that things kind of fall off the shoulder. So let me go and just tag this onto the avatar that I get a slight idea of how well this is working in principle. So tag on avatar like this to here. That there's no slippage here, that to there. Okay, and then we'll try that again. Yeah, 150% was probably just too much. So that's like the XL size, and she more needs like the medium size, I guess. So a little bit smaller all around. But in principle it works, so that's all. It looks like it's sewn together properly. I'll try to make it maybe 20% smaller, and then we'll see what happens. Not so bad. Should have cut the strap in half the short way. Okay. Like you mean not the width, you mean like just maybe make it like half as long as it currently is? It's also possible. Yeah, let's do those two things. I'm with you, Bob. Straps shorter. They were 300, weren't they? Hang on, 450? No way, I thought I made them 300. Oh, because I've increased the... Duh, yes, good point. I've increased them now, haven't I? So that's why my 300 straps are now 450. Makes perfect sense. Let me just go and do that. And make it so, no, that's width. I don't know why it doesn't obey my commands. No, see, that's totally not what I'm doing. There, that's more like it. So let's try like 80%. Oops. Let's try that again. And now we've got the problematic issue with with having the... Yeah, that I shouldn't have done that. There's my tags on avatar, and the straps are still a bit too long, I guess. So what are they now then? Now they're 360, so let's make him 250 then maybe. Really? Are we that difficult about it, Marvelous Designer? Yes, let's be difficult. Sure, buddy, sure. What did I say now? I forgot. It's 360. We make him 250. So that is 110, isn't it? 110 shorter. There. And then we'll go and put this onto here. Dude. Let's also remove the tack. Edit tack like that. I don't really know why. Oh, because we're on the tack tool there. Sorry, there we go. Shift F for the arrangement points. And should we also reset all these things, or are we gonna go? Should we do this manually? Like, no, don't do that. Like that. And then this here maybe goes to kind of here. That goes to here. That goes to there. Nearly there. That goes to here. And that goes to there. Okay. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Yeah, I'm not sure why these things stick together here. They shouldn't be. Maybe I've crossed them. It could be that there's something crossed. Yes, that is crossed, isn't it? That why are these guys sewn together? That is just insane. I do not recall doing that. Better. Yeah, almost. Almost. Almost indeed. I'm kind of tempted to put a strap in the back here just so that this doesn't slip off. Or use a tack once again. A tack is problematic because it's... because it'll shift the positions of the two pieces. So not bad. So maybe it's still a little large. So maybe we'll go and reduce it down once again by 10 centimeters. So remember, this is going to be sewn up with a different piece, which I think, let's try that now, just so that we have the full top, and then we can see if that is something that needs to be adjusted in the size. Yeah, so the straps, and let's go and sew this thing up here first, because I think that has a lot to do with how the front holds up. So for that, we need to, let's see if we can arrange it first. Like this would kind of go here. This goes here. That goes there-ish. And that goes here. You know, I think I've sewn the straps on incorrectly. I think the straps actually go on this top bit here rather than on the side. I don't actually know, to be brutally honest. I don't know. But let's make that happen first here, I think. Stream keeps lacking 2 minutes behind. Camilla, wow. What happens if you refresh the browser window? That usually helps me out. Oh, good question, Neville. There are so many t-shirts that are kind of generic. You can technically, if you make the texture yourself, you can probably sell it for any product because it just references the original. I like the ones by 3D Universe. They're fairly generic. See if I can find it here. One comes with the stylized 2021 characters. Let's see. This one here. This is just a bundle. But he makes kind of good t-shirts here. So these are fairly generic, and they're a little stylized, they're a little baggy. So she has one and he has one, and you can get these guys separately, and they'll work for the regular Genesis 8 figures, of course, as well. Stylized clothing for the male and the female. And they come with a few patterns, but what's cool about these things is that they are the UVs are very clean, so you can go and put anything you want on them, and then you can just go and sell those as a texture set. This is what comes with it. So it's like a pair of cargo shorts and a t-shirt here, and also comes with a little wristband and some shoes. So yeah, there's just one clothing option on here. But if you have something like the Toon Generations series, they come with generic shaders that you can apply to these things, and of course you can then go and apply any of the other shaders that you get from the store, or like you suggested, you can make them yourself. So the same goes for the female clothing here. But yeah, he has that, and then this is her clothing here that comes with this, and this is sort of hinted at with this, so you can just add any shader you would like, or you make your own texture. So I don't know what types of shaders come with this product other than these. I don't think I've seen this or that, but they are, like I said, this would be good for just dropping shaders on there, but they're also really suitable for making your own textures for it if you like. Ooh, Duntrin, thank you so much for the coffee donation. I appreciate that, buddy. Thank you so much. Awesome. That is really, really groovy. Let me go and put this this link into the description here. Oh no, actually, Brian, maybe Brian can do it. If you're around still, Brian. See if you can give, or Camilla, either of you, or Julia, any of you. Then I go and sew up my thing. Yeah, so that's my recommendation. That's a really nice nice set that you can use there. Let's do segment sewing. This goes here, and then that goes there, and then the more complicated part is how to connect that to that. We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. You're still thinking about it? No, there we go, that and that. Sure, Neville, no worries. And if you do have something like access to Marvelous Designer, even the trial version, you can open up the library here, and then you can go and get yourself one of these garments and bring those in as a starting point. So there's like a t-shirt here, so that's like a basic starting point. That's kind of nice to get the trial version for. Just put that onto your Genesis avatar and then make it fit properly. You also have the same for the cargo shorts here. So these are great starting points for stuff like long trousers or like dress like this. And then you add embellishments and textures to that. Also nice skirt here. So they do get you started. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time, you know. Even though, look at that. That's nice little Marvelous Design on the back there. Yeah, so that's also possible. That's sewn up, that's sewn up. Now let's see if we can put this into here. So that'll be our, I suppose M-to-N free sewing would do the trick. Enter from here all the way. Nope, not here. For that's here, isn't it? Oh, right. How do we deal with that? Oh, that is an interesting one. So technically all of that needs to be, oh, I see. No, this, we need to do this differently. We have the split point in the middle, which needs to be in the middle of that. So I think I'm going to make myself split this line here. He says by right-clicking and saying split into 2 lines, split by uniform split, like so, to here. And I think then we can use the M&N free sewing tool. Yeah, I think this is going to be handier. So if I'm assuming this here is for the strap at the top, I'll go from here to here, enter, and all that goes onto here. Ha! By the magic of calculation, that is how that works, isn't it? Let's try that again. From here to here, enter, first part done, and then this, all of that marries up to here. It's wonderful to see how this adjusts on the fly, isn't it? So cool. This is really complex calculation there that you would, as a human, would be really difficult. What does the 3D view look like? Also, perhaps we should start by reactivating these patterns here. That almost looks like it could work. And then we'll redo the sewing on the straps. I'll see what that's like. Okay, deep breath. Almost. Oh, we didn't sew the middle part. Shame on me. Let me try that. Sew the middle part. That's also, I'm going to use just the free sewing here for that. No, it has to be, yeah, I can do free sewing from here to there. And then from here to there, right? I think. And these things are already sewn. Sewn together. Okay. Well, we're getting there. I think we're still a little large and baggy, but I think we're getting there. We're getting there. So maybe make that another 10% smaller. And we'll see how that fits. And also, oh yeah, the sewing on the straps here. So we're going to make that go to both these parts. Let's do that and make it all smaller. This is fun though, isn't it? Because you can really sink your teeth into that. That's why the straps were so thick. Yes, good point. Good point. They were so thick, and then they probably also were kind of folded in half, and I made them a quarter of their size. So yeah, you're absolutely right. That is probably why they were so thick. Good point. So, but if you look at the pictures of her dress, it isn't. They don't actually look that big. So yeah, the proportions seem to be very different. What I have and what is actually happening on her dress in real life. There's another view of the strap, so they seem to be fairly slim. I also don't know what material she was using. If it's very stretchy, we'll see. We'll work it out. We'll work it out. I'll leave them as thin as they are for now, and we'll see if that just goes and kind of corrects itself here. Let's see. I don't know why I can't ever see the little sewing machine icon here. This is the back. We want to leave that alone. This one is the front, is it? No, that's also the back. What? No, that's the front. No, that's the back. Dang, this is the front. This, okay. So let's go and remove that. And I'll use end-to-end free sewing again, because I kind of, I like that. So from here to there, enter, goes all the way to here and there, enter. And then the same thing goes here, remove. I have to say, I think end-to-end free sewing is probably my favorite tool. That, and that now goes to here, right? Right? I don't know. Simulating it now isn't going to do us any good. We need to go and shrink it down as well. Give it another 10%. No! There, let's make it 90. Let's make it 90. Okay. Well, that certainly marries up the pieces at the top here together, so that's nice. But we're still super baggy, and maybe another 10%. Or what I did with my other dress, I just added a helper strap made from invisible material that just keeps these things together on the back. That's also possible. And I suppose the markings on this also don't exactly help. Yeah, let me try that. I think I can put something into place that that will just keep the back together, you know. Like just like here in between that. It doesn't have to be super accurate, but something like, how do I measure distance here? How did that work again? I don't remember how to do that. Edit measure, basic tape measure. That sounds good. Like, basically from here to kind of there. What is that? That's 226. Perfect. So let's say 220 then. So width, let's call it 200. Just make it a little tighter, so just so it keeps it in place there for now. And the height, that's 20 centimeters probably enough. And then we can go and just put that just to hold it in place. And for that, I say, let's use the free sewing tool, like from here to there, and then from here to there. Perfect. Oops. Wrong tool there. It's kind of like that. Just so that we don't get issues with the strap falling down. There, it still falls down. Like, stay there. This is where elastics and stuff come in handy. But at least we've got something that that now stays on the avatar. Yeah, so we can use elastic here, we can do steaming. It doesn't have it in the pattern, but we could add something like a dart here on the sides. We'll see. Those are just fine work, so we'll worry about that in a sec. For now, it's there. It's a top. It kind of stays on the avatar. I'm pleased about that. That's good. We made this in an hour and a half. Jesus. Yeah. So there's a lot of work involved. So, but hey, round of applause. We've done it. Sebastian, wonderful to see you. There is a ruffle around the bust, so yeah. So we're gonna go and do all that in a second. Let's go and put a little put the skirt on. So the skirt, we've now expanded and shrunk the pattern so much that I don't recall how big or small the skirt needs to be. So thankfully they're very forgiving. Skirt part 2. Let's go and save the project, Brian. Thank you. Thank you for bearing with me. It's really just about practice, and you got to do these things time and time again so that they sink in, that you remember what tool does what and why do I need this in which situation and all. So, but it's always good to just take a moment and say, hey, look, you know, don't give yourself a hard time. You've come this far, so, you know, congrats. That's really nice. Whew. Can you believe that's the other thing that I find quite fascinating? So I've been using Marvelous Designer very casually since version 4, and I don't remember when that was, but it was around 2016, 2015, 16, something like that, or even 14. I don't recall. If we have Marvelous Designer 11 now and it's 22, then we have 20, so 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. That's 7 years. 7 years I've been using Marvelous Designer, and I can do the basics just about. Crazy, isn't it? But that's just how it works with 3D applications. If you don't use it every day, you just forget things. So you really got to do what Chris does, and just keep doing it, and you get better at it. I mean, look at the outfits he's making right now. Round of applause, by the way. If you haven't already subscribed to Mr. Chris's channel on Twitch, you should do so now. He's just crossed 1,000 followers, and his reach is getting more and more, which is really, really, really exciting. But more importantly, the output that Chris has on his Ko-fi store and on Render Hub and on Renderosity is just getting more and more, and the outfits are getting better and better. So very cool. This is how you got to do it. You just got to practice, and then eventually it's super complicated things seem really easy. Like this is a fairly easy dress, and I'm really struggling like to get this done in my brain. So yeah, but with practice these things really grow on you. I think I might just go and turn these around. And those. And with Chris, it's just so nice to hang out. DZ is in his chat as well. DZ makes unbelievable outfits, and it's just down to practice. And it's wonderful to be able to talk to you guys about how do you do it, why do you do it this way, and so forth. And it's just really encouraging and inspiring as well. I think this is what this is all about: inspiration and getting. You know, same with John's tutorials as well. It's just very inspirational to see, oh, that's how you do that. So it's not impossible. You just, you know, got to invest that willingness to get there. I think I might just use the skirt here without changing the size. I might just go and pop it in place the way I think it needs to be. I don't recall which of these on the bottom was the longer part. Was it the front or the back? I don't recall. Let's have a look at the pattern. Fit and flare. I'd be glad if it does one of these two things. Let's make it fit first, and then we make it flare. This is the front, and this is the back. And the front is the longer one, and the back's the shorter one. Okay, gotcha. What did I just say? The front is the longer one, and the back's the shorter one. Brain! Jesus! Get it together! So, and this here is... I think the pattern pieces are pretty much identical, but while I have it here, that one is the front, and then that one is the back. I don't think there's a big difference between them. But then this would be the front, and this would be the back. Mirror paste. So as I said, last time I just unfolded this, and that's also possible, of course. But I thought this time I'm going to do the mirror paste trick. Oh, we also need to activate all these pieces, I guess. If there was such an option here. Does this activate? There we go, perfect. And that just goes on the bottom now. Nicely done. So we'll put the back kind of here, and then this here. That's also a job for the... I have a feeling that the skirt's probably going to be way too big, but we'll see how it goes. So I'll use the same trick as before, that I'll split this line here uniformly, check, and then we can use well, let's go and put the pieces into the right positions here first of all. So that kind of goes here. Yeah, it's too large, isn't it? That's just one piece. Yeah, it's way too large. And let's do that. Let's do that now. Then let's go and make the hose 80% maybe. That's a good starting point, isn't it? Damn! Why does it not work sometimes? There, 80 and 80 there. Let's see if that is a better size here. Sexy guy clothes maker. That's exactly right. Yes, the males just don't get enough love. So I'm glad somebody's taking that upon themselves. Seb, who joined my Patreon yesterday, thank you so much, Seb, for joining as a Steadicam supporter. He's making an erotic visual novel called Irwin VN, and that is about gay guys. So it's good. It's kind of cool to see males featured more. Animate! Thank you so much for the super chat donation, for the coffee donation even. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. Super, super nice. Yes, good question. I'm glad you are on the board there. So sometimes, Nico, when the clothing is made like I'm making it now, and it's then turned into an OBJ, and then it becomes Daz clothing at one point, you have a chance to bring the OBJ into Marvelous Designer and then use the same mechanism to just fit it and then export that out again. But some clothing that isn't made like this, that isn't connected necessarily. So what you might find is that your OBJ, your solid OBJ comes in and you simulate it and it just all falls to pieces because it's not the edges aren't merged like what we had with the bow yesterday. When I looked at that in Blender, it wasn't connected. So if you were to simulate that, it would just fall into several pieces. So some clothing works great, others does not. And when the clothing doesn't simulate in Marvelous Designer, then there's usually no way to really change that unless you go and merge it. But then you also destroy the material zone. So you have to go and redo the materials at that point as well. I think in the masterclass I'm showing how to do that. Should that be more here? Yeah, I suppose. That can probably be here. Then this can be kind of here. That's that. And then the other two pieces like this, I suppose can go kind of here. Ish. Yeah, males need some love. And I think what I hear is that male clothing doesn't sell as well, but I don't know how true that is. I know that there's a lot less of it, but it's kind of a chicken and egg situation that there's not much clothing because it doesn't sell well, or doesn't it sell well because there isn't much clothing. So it's difficult to say. Let's go and not worry about these pieces for now. And let's see if we can get this sewn up here. So a little bit of segment sewing action between this and I suppose this equals that. Okay, good. That's good. So like this and that. I'm thinking yes, and then this and that. Yes. Yes, fantastic. So that sews the skirt together. Now we need to go and sew this onto our various top pieces. So that is probably a friend for my segment sewing, end-to-end segment sewing tool again. MN free sewing. So from the outside to the inside then. That sounds reasonable. Ish. Outside to inside again. Yes. I like. And then on the back, that is just segment sewing then, isn't it? Like, I guess from here to there. Yes. And then from here to there. All right. Is it going to work? Is it going to work? Is it going to work? She looks like the Minotaur now, doesn't she? If you just look at her from the front. Totally the Minotaur shape. And then it's just, you know, the horseback is missing. Okay. Should I save it again? Just because, you know, we do put a lot of work into these things. Yes, finish your donut tutorial. That's going to be good. It stays in shape. It also has fun all by itself here. I do like the pattern here. Maybe this could be the texture already. And it looks too short, but that's only because there's no bottom piece on there. I don't actually mind it being a little larger like this, because I do like it when it has a ton of ruffles. I do like that. I like it. It's also particle distance 10 right now, so it's not gonna look as amazing as it will at one point. Let's just leave this on here. This is a good texture. It's designer artwork wear, you know, with designer label on the side. I love it. I kind of like, what I like about the design of the dress is that we have this additional chest piece here, and that we don't actually have a traditional waistband. I do like that. Okay, so this goes on here and that goes on there then. So that is also, my friend, the MN segment would also work, but free sewing, I do like the free sewing tool. So let's go from here to, no, hang on. Might need to go and split this line in half again, uniformly, much like this one as well at the back. Just so that I know where to sew this to. Actually, no, that's not actually important. Let me go and undo that. That's not important, because if I go and use my my free sewing tool, it'll show me where that end point is. So if I do this and then I go ahead and do that, it shows me that this, really, that can't be. Impossible. No, I can't do that. It's my, I was correct. Jay was correct for change, because we have that additional ruffle. This is not a one-to-one thing, it ruffles at the bottom. If we do look at her dress, it has the ruffles both here at the top, but it has more ruffles, more gathering on the bottom. So there is that. Let's make that happen. And therefore we need to split that line so that there's more gathering that comes in here. Yes. I remember now. Uniform, check. Split uniform, check. Gotcha. Now we can get away with the segment sewing tool from here to there. And from here to there. And because that looks a little scary, I'm not going to simulate this because that would just be ludicrous. I'll just go and make that happen here and there as well. Perfect. So that, if I simulate that, it will just knock everything that we have out of the water right there. So let me go and use one of those other tools which I kind of always, it always surprises me. If we go and say superimpose, it's always a total surprise if it's over, under, or side. So we could try over. And I don't know if that's correct now or not. We can try the other things. Under does that. Under that does not look good. And side looks almost the same as over. So let's use the first one we had. So over. Nope, that's now over no longer works. A little bit fascinating. I'm okay with it not knowing how it works. You just try each type and then you see which one works best. So superimpose. Let's try over on the back as well. See, on the back, it now magically over doesn't work. So we just go and use something else until under also doesn't work. So let's try side. Sure, whatever. We're good. That's I'm okay not understanding that. And then, oh yeah, we might probably also might help to activate the pieces here. And then, boom, it kind of works. Yeah, I think now on the length of the whole skirt, I can see that it is too big. So we can go and make the whole thing a little smaller now that it's in place. I think we should also sew up the sides here while we're in that generous mood. Human pretzels are contortionists. Totally agree with you. Jay was correct. Can't be. Neville, you're going to bed? Neville's probably already gone, but in case you're still here, have sweet dreams, my friend. Sweet dreams. So yeah, this whole thing needs to be made a little bit smaller, but let's go and make the segment sewing, I suppose. That's that, and that is that. So yeah, perfect. So we go and put those two together. And then we put that together. You like it, Animate. That is good to hear. I'm glad that you like it. I do like it too. It's a really nice dress, and the more you keep fiddling with it, it's just gonna be beautiful. That works. That works as well. Straps. You usually pay a lot of money for these types of morphs. A Marvelous Designer gives them to you for free. It's still a little large, isn't it? I think it's still a little tall. We're going to have a look at the strain map in a second, so we might make everything just 5% smaller. But let me get the skirt in position, or into the correct size now. All of that, maybe give it 10%. Like make it 90%. That's better, but that's also not enough. So let's make it another 10%. Let's make it another 90. We're getting there. We're getting there. I think now, just in relation to the top, I think it's the correct size. It's just, I think the top itself could also be smaller. So I think that especially the chest piece here, if we look at at Kiana's dress, that chest piece is much smaller. So it's just smaller. So I have a feeling if we look at the strain map here, we're going to find this is all very loose right now. Like the here, maybe strain map. There we go. Yeah, so this is tight here on the bottom, but this is all very loose still. Also on the back, so I have a feeling this is probably a much tighter fit, or this wants to be a much tighter fit. It's almost like I want to reduce the size of the chest piece first. I think I want to make that 10% smaller by itself to see how that improves it before I make everything smaller. Because so this here, that's where it actually touches the avatar, and this is some gathering here, so that's all good. So straps and whatnot, that looks kind of good to me here. So everything needs to be a bit smaller, but I think in relation, I think also the chest piece needs to be smaller still. So let's start with that. Let's try 10%. It doesn't want me to do it. It's so bad. I don't know why it doesn't like me doing this. Sometimes it does. So you always know that when you make multiple pieces smaller and only... Whoops. No! Undo, stop! Oh, forgot to press the right thing. Abort, there we go. If you do this and only one value comes up, then you know it's going to screw up. But if both values come up, percentage for width and height, then you're good. I like doing it with round numbers so that I know where I've come from and where I'm going. Oh, we forgot to sew this bit up. So sorry about that. We'll take care of that right away. Because did we do the front? Yeah, we did the front, just not the back. Sorry about that. That is it this? Yeah, this piece here, there. Now that's also sewn up. Oops. Goodie. So that certainly has improved how it looks a little bit. But it's still a tiny bit loose. So I'm thinking if I make everything 5% smaller, that's probably not gonna hurt. Worth a try. Save and try. That's what we will do. Oops, butt flaps, yes. Quit removing the butt coverings. It'll be a special morph, you know. Okay, so everything 5% smaller. The challenge. Yes, oh, it works. 95. Aha! That was the 5%. Let me go switch the strain map off here. So I can never remember which of these nondescript icons if this thing is on. I suppose the texture is a little... isn't exactly helping here that we have. It's almost the strain map was helping more than the... Could we do monochrome surface? No, that doesn't. That is a texture surface. Mesh. That also... strain map was actually helping to visualize the fit a little bit. And like Travis David always says, that with Marvelous Designer, one of the things is that you just got to be willing to tame the beast. He is so right about that. Oh, it's now showing the mesh on the avatar. That's not really what we want, is it? Where is that? Just show avatar? Oh, that's wrong. Man, what did I do? Stop showing the textured surface. There we go. Gotcha. Yes, I'm still on. Thank you, Christina. I was battling my way through making the pieces fit a little bit better. I think I'm at a point where it's now much better than my first version. So I think that's working out, isn't it? I'm glad you're still here as well, or that you've popped back. Yeah, so I think the texture doesn't help. Where is it? It's on screen map. Yeah, so my texture is still all the drawings there, so I should maybe just go and remove them. Hey, maybe you know how to do this, Christina. I know how to remove the grid. So basically, this is still the graphic trim here. I know how to remove the graphic trim from one piece by just doing this, edit texture, and selecting that, and I think I can just go delete. Nope, that's not how I do that. But I know how to do it on one pattern piece, but I don't know how to remove them from all pattern pieces. Is there a way to do this? I don't even recall how to get the graphic off from one piece now. Wasn't it edit texture? And then do I just remove it from here? See, I've forgotten that as well. I don't remember how to do that. Sunday afternoon coffee with friends. That sounds really nice. I'm glad you're doing that. I'm glad you're out and about. That's really cool. Seb, my man, how's it going? Select all. Just, I mean, we could try. So the thing is, what happens if I go and use this fabric here, and I just choose the color, then it'll change that, but all the graphic trims will stay in place. So I think there was a way. Is it under texture? No, it doesn't have a texture. It's something else. It's one of those graphic-y things. Graphic-y things. I don't remember. What'll help is if I just use different material zones right away. So if I just go and make different types of fabrics and just put them on the different parts of the dress, that helps me visualize it, and then it helps me make material zones later anyway. So I might just go and do that. Oh, that's different in Claw. Oh, okay, interesting. A button in the 2D window to deactivate the oh, really? I don't think I have that. There's transform, graphic, and edit texture. So I remember yesterday that if I maybe I don't select it. Maybe I just go and hit delete like this. No, the delete key was involved. Or I just right click, delete texture. That's it. Hours later. Nope, don't work. Or was it just right click without that? Delete texture? I did do that yesterday, you know. I remember this worked yesterday. And today there's just no more texture deleting. I have a feeling just making new material zones is probably easier, and then just assigning them to where I want them to be. Because that'll greatly help us out visualizing things. And then I don't know if I'm going to have time for that today, but then so I'll steam this up here and increase the material distance or decrease the material distance a little bit, and then I'll add these outside pieces that just turn that give that curved normal a little option there. Yeah, maybe I'll try that. I'll just add a new fabric and I'll call this one say the I think I might, yeah, let's call that the top. Let's call that just the top. I'll give that a new color. Here's something memorable. And the top, is just going to be this here, as well as that. Oh, and it retains the texture, so that hasn't actually helped me out. The texture's still on there. Dang. Well, that's not good. No worries. Hey, thank you for trying. Deactivate edit texture. Yeah, it's definitely deactivate edit texture. Let me try. Deactivate. What I find weird is that it doesn't even just delete the texture anymore. Because I have found that yesterday or the day before, whenever I made this. It was even in here, somewhere in the properties editor. But it too is now gone, of course. There was definitely a texture thing, and I could remove it from there as well. It's no longer there because that's just, is it this? No, that's just the fabric. It's one of those things that's totally illogical to me. Intensity, physical properties. Or is it, is there a thing like a graphics thing editor? No. Library history, modular configurator. No. That's just, I don't get it at all. Especially because it was here yesterday. Oh, there, basic properties, texture, transformation, normal map, displacement. Then it's just the color, but I don't even see the thing. What happens if I do this? That just shows me that, but it doesn't show me the thing that's on all of those. Maybe it's per pattern piece then. That could be double-sided. Because there was literally a path to the texture. Could it be miscellaneous maybe? No, that is not it either. Nah, looking 50 times. Miran is correct. You select fabric to see the texture, not the segment. Well, but if I do that, so if I select the fabric here, then I see the texture for the fabric, but I don't see the texture for the graphic trim. So that's the one I'm trying to remove. So the fabric itself doesn't have a texture. It's the, like here, see, the texture, it doesn't live here. There's no texture on this. On the fabric, so it's the graphic trim I'm trying to remove, and you'd think edit would be a good start, but of course that is not the case. Right click, delete texture, that may work. It doesn't. If I select this, then right click, delete texture, that also doesn't work. If I just delete, then the whole pattern piece I think goes away. Yeah, that's not what I want. I'll bring that right back. So yeah, that I don't really know. Press T to edit texture mode. Oh, okay. Thank you, Tux. Let me try that. T. Yeah, that's the mode I'm already in. Yeah, edit texture, exactly. That's the one I'm already in edit texture. So then if I select a pattern piece, you right click and delete, then it doesn't actually delete the texture. Could be a bug as well. That's also possible. I could just try to restart Marvelous Designer. That might work. Let me try the other one. So transform graphic. Does that do anything? Transform, delete. That's the one. That is how that works. Good stuff. So we have to go and say transform graphic. But I think I have to do this on a per pattern piece. I don't know if I can select multiple. Oops, still working on it. Don't want to don't want to interrupt the delete, and it works on multiple pattern pieces. All right, we've figured it out by not giving up. So transform graphic, not edit, where every sane person would expect there to be an editing option, but no, you have to go to transform and then sure, buddy, sure. Let me go make some more zones here. Like this can be just the skirt, I'm thinking. And then where we can have the skirt bottom, that's another interesting one. Skirt, what do you call this thing that we call a volant in German? Christina, what do you call that in English, this bottom piece here? Skirt, I'll just call it skirt. But it's not the seam, it's just called the something. I'll call it volant for now. And then once we figure out what that is, we'll go and call it something else. That, maybe we'll make that something like blue. And that will be this and that. And that. I get you right. Scott, frills, I like it. Frills is a good word. Frills is a good word, Tuck. I like it, I like it. Scott, welcome to the stream. Ruffles, flounce, I love it. Frills, ruffles, flounce. Ooh, flounce. Flounce sounds, you know, that sounds good. Says Deep L, okay. I like it. Skirt flounce. You win. Deep L. Flounce is good. That's the skirt. We also have the straps. Let me make a different one for that. Straps. And if we're going to leave them like that or put different properties on there, be that as it may. This, I'm not sure if I'm going to export it out. I think this is just going to be an invisible little thing. I'll just call that one do not export. For now, there'll be others that we won't export. And I'm tempted to give this chest piece here in its own material zone. Which what would you call this then? Would you call that the? It's not the. Do we want to call that the chest piece or just the bust or something like that? Trying to make that even with the other side here. It's a little moved over from over there. Come on, it's like. Bust, yeah, let's call that the bust plate. That's not a bad call. Bust plate. Bust plate. I like it. Bustier. That's kind of, yeah, it's that would suggest something different. Bust plate is good. I like it. And then maybe we'll make that kind of this color here. And that's all of these pieces. Bing. Okay. And then I might, so let's increase the particle distance on literally everything to 10. Give Marvelous Designer a minute. And then I'm wondering, I'm just gonna try to add these additional pieces that we get that that additional that normal on the sides. Oh, and then also the distance to the avatar is still 3 millimeters, I think. Let's go and close that off as well. So there's additional thickness. I could bring that down. To that. And then there's also something on the avatar itself, like the skin offset. I might make that a little smaller, like maybe 1 millimeter, like so. So the straps, Christina, if you're up for this, straps I could do with some help with. Ideally, and I don't know how this is going to work with or in Daz Studio. Ideally, I just like to have a nice edge here. So in the real life, in the real world, what we do is we wouldn't just have a flat piece like this. We would just turn over the seams and sew them onto the inside so that looks much better. And I don't know if I can do that here. So my idea was to just have extend this line and just have one extra piece on the right and on the left and just make them invisible. But I could also turn the seam line in. I just don't know if how that's gonna, is that gonna fare well? I don't really know. Two-sided increases, yeah, that's possible. Two-sided I stay away from, usually because it's not something that I'm familiar with, and it also gives me the two-sided version on literally every pattern piece, I think. I can only export everything with thickness or nothing, and I'm trying to find a cheap workaround, you know. Sebastian, thank you so much. I appreciate that. On my bank holiday, yes, is it a bank holiday, 2nd of October? I don't even know. So let me try. This is what I was going to do. It doesn't have to be much, but I'll say offset pattern outline, I think. 5 mil is fine. We can use that like so. Oh no, see, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. I meant create internal line here. This is what I wanted to enable, like this, and then I'm going to do that as well here. Pattern outline with internal line. That's cool. So that's not really going to be part of what I'm exporting, but I'm going to go and cut and sew this. That and that. And then this here, this and that gets added to the do not export option, where we can also, I think, there's the do not export option, turn down the opacity just to make that invisible, and it'll give us at least a nice little normal edge there on export. And I'm going to try to do that all the way around here. Is this twisted? It's a little twisted here. We'll correct that. Oh yeah, also while I have these, oh, I can do that later. I can do that later. Let's do that here as well. Pattern outline with internal line, check. Cut and sew, check. Offset as pattern outline, cut and sew. And then this and that. Do not export. Perfect. Oh, okay. So the new outlines together. And the sewing line is under the strap in the middle, and you have a nice soft outline. Hopefully that would be nice. Do I, in that case, Christina, do I then have to turn the sewing lines so that they basically fold in like that? That would be a really nice experiment. Let me try that out. So first I'm going to give it the same material again so that these things are there. So you're saying, Christina, this is awesome. So you're saying, so this and that, right? And then respectively also on the other side. But then I think, like you've told me before, I think you have to, I don't remember where that is. Is it like good point. 2nd of October is a Sunday, so aren't the banks closed anyway? Oh, Camilla, very cool, very cool. Do you know, I find that really confusing that both you and Christina, you both you have a similar name length. You both have blue names. That's very, very difficult for my brain. Not when you're robbing it. Good point, Yoshi. Yeah, that is actually when you... That's a very good point. So I'm guessing it's under edit sewing, isn't it? Turned. That's it. Turned here and there. I remember. You've told me that years ago. Now, when it comes to simulating this, are we in massive trouble? Also, is the strap... Well, we'll go simulate, see what happens. Well, I may have to reset the pattern. Yeah, let me do that. Let me go and do that. Like, or with this here. No! Reset 3D thingamajig like that. I had expected that to happen. No, you're right. That's what I want. Yeah, that's what I want. This is what I'm. So this is one way of trying to make that work. The other way is kind of a fake, in which we essentially, these pieces here, we don't deal with them as in real life. We don't sew them together, we just leave them dangling, but we don't export them. But we still have a sewing line on either end. And what Marvelous Designer then does is it'll create something like this through a normal map, and that looks quite handsome. If it happens on the outside, it's almost like the effect that we're looking for, but it doesn't have the overhead of you know what we're doing now. Freeze the rest. Simulate just the strap. Oh wow, that's an interesting one. Let me try that. So we do that. Freeze essentially everything except for the strap. We'll unfreeze the strap in a second. So this freeze. This is like the territory I never deal with because I have no idea what any of that is. Unfreeze. Was it something about K? Did I see that? The unfreeze control K, that's the one. So just that. It might also help if I turn gravity off so that it just does this in mid-air. What do you think? Because otherwise it'll still do that. Let me see if I can remember what Chris said yesterday. He says under preferences is simulation, gravity, Gonski. It does not obey my commands. Oh, it's probably because it's attached here and it's just being pulled down, I have a feeling. But so if it weren't for this, whoops, sorry. No. The effect is rather cool. And that would be like totally like in real life. And it also means I can use the same principle on the outsides here. So, very nice. I just don't know how well that'll play with, you know, with putting itself into place. You know what I say? No worries, Gray. Better late than never. You're always welcome. Definitely no gravity. Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought. Yeah, so it's also, it'll add basically that extra overhead. So let me try this. Let me undo this and let's see what this looks like just with the normal map. And let's try the Fugazi trick essentially. To remove that sewing, and we'll go and, oh yeah, also I'll make the sewing lines the custom angle again. And then I'll go and make these the do not export transparent option. And then I'll go and reset the 3D arrangement. And I suppose I can also unfreeze everything else now. I'm wondering actually, are the straps too short now? Is it that's partly the reason why they're sliding down, because they're just too short. I have a feeling if we go look at the strain map, and if we were to just do that, yeah, so they are extremely tight. So let me go and make those a little longer. This is actually a lot of fun, I have to say. It's also even more so that we're doing it together. You know, I think that is also what I really enjoy, that we just go and make these things happen together. As Jay desperately tries to use the correct tool, which I thought I had selected like 5 times already. I guess I haven't. What's the length of this? It's 213. So let's try to make it 230 maybe. Let's try that. 213. That would be 17. Like, oops, no. 17. Not 178. That is not what I typed, quite clearly. Just you read my mind, robot. That's still tight. We probably don't need to have it quite that tight. Let me see if I can make it a bit longer. So 230. Let's make it 10 more. These are all tips, by the way, that I've learned from Christina and from Chris and from the Fugazi. Those are kind of my main go-to people who really hammered Marvelous Designer into my brain. And any such professional tool comes with blood, sweat, tears, gray hairs and all that. That's much better, isn't it? Okay, I'm gonna go and try to make, well, let's go get rid of the strain map, and I'll try to do the same trick here. Yeah, see, this is the effect I was talking about, this little extra shadowy line either side. That just adds that extra little bit of realism to it, and it's kind of halfway between having a properly sewn over strap, but without the overheads. Let me go and do that on all the other parts, and then we can go to town on things like, well, actually, maybe let's use the steam tool on here, or even add elastic. That's a possibility. We can add elastic here. I don't think we need it here. That's almost a little too tight at the back. I'd like to see some more gathering there. What's the strain map say here? Well, actually, maybe it's okay to have it that way. This could do with elastic, I'm thinking, just to give that back a little help, I'm thinking. Miran, thank you so much for being here. Super nice to see you, buddy. And it is fun to hang out, isn't it? Absolutely. And ripped out hairs, Nate, you're so right. Yeah, remember to keep refreshing the feed every once in a while if you feel like what you say is only being discussed like 5 minutes later. Let's try to use the steam tool here. I don't think I want to put an additional piece in here. That or elastic? What do you think? Elastic? Elastic. Let's try elastic first before we go steam and stuff. So that is here. So this and that, and then elastic ratio just 90 to begin with. We don't want to overdo it. Yes, look at that. Tidied that right up for the perfect fit. So no need for the steam tool. It's all good. Might even do that at the top here as well. Let's go and mirror that on this part. The secret weapon of the fashion industry. Oops. Oh, maybe I'll actually make it 80. 80 looked quite nice because then we get this gathering here. Maybe 80 was the default, so it just gets that fit really right here. Sweet. Let me make that 80 as well. I've had that on 90. Sweet. And if we try to do the same at the top here, same trick. That might be too much, so for enhanced fit and gathering and good times. And while I'm thinking about the elastic, I'm going to try it on the back as well. I don't know if it's going to work, but it would. I'm thinking it could introduce, if there's enough material there, it could introduce just a nice gathering effect here, just to see what that looks like. It could be that we're not going to use it, but I do like the idea in principle. Elastic. Yeah, as I said, subtlety. We might not like that so much. Yeah, like this. Yeah, this is just that effect that I'm after. Just that little bit of extra stuff. So it could well be that the whole back needs to now be just a little bit longer. Or perhaps it's a bad idea. I'm not entirely sure yet. It's like that needs to be more. There needs to be more material here. That might also stop it from creeping around the top of the front here. And without elastic, maybe we'll do without elastic. Oh, did I? Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Ah, okay. Thank you. Thank you, Christina. Let's try this again then without the waistline. I totally didn't mean to do that. I meant to just have this and that. Just these pieces here. Try with that. Let's try again. Because I thought the idea in principle, yeah, that's a little better. It still does this here, doesn't it? Let me go and undo elastics on all of these things. I think I may not have like on and off there. Could also do, since we have an additional point here, I could just do elastic here and there. So not at the bottom bit at all, like this here. Oh, do you know what? I'm still without. Now that I understand why this doesn't behave all that well. It's because I don't have gravity. I switched off gravity earlier, didn't I? Duh. Let's just quickly put gravity back on. Let's make it 9,800. Whoops. Minus 9,800, I mean. Sorry. There. It certainly is live, that. Marilyn, how you doing? Very cool. Oops. Demonetized. Okay, fine. Now that we have gravity back. Too funny, too funny. Where were we? Elastic, right. So I only put elastic here, but not in here. And I think that was actually nice, because if I go and add that here, then we have... Oh no. Also good. I still think the pieces could do with being a little larger. Let me try that, just 5%. Give it a second. Oh, now things start to get baggy, so maybe that wasn't a good idea. Or maybe 5% was just too much. I'm also having second thoughts about the elastic at the top here. Good to test this out. I don't think so, Christina. It's a good question though, because I don't really know, to be honest. So if I go and use the Z here, like the edit pattern tool, if I go and select this, it kind of just selects this line here, but maybe it just previews that the line is on that pattern. Could that be? Because yeah, if I investigate like this here, that definitely doesn't have elastic. And this one does, and this one does. But yeah, like you say, you just select one line and it selects the whole pattern piece without knowing actually in the 3D view what line that is, what corresponding line that is. Let me go back then to the original size. Thank you, Christina. I appreciate that. Appreciate your insight on this. And did that do it? No. This did it there. Now we're back to the original. I'm not happy about this here though, I gotta say. But John showed me a trick. In that we can use elastic the other way. That is a very interesting idea. So if I switch elastic on, then this happens here. But if I go and put the ratio to 110 now, then it actually expands and relaxes here a little bit. So it's hello. Yeah, so ratio now it actually expands here, which is nice. So that might work. I don't know if it has done all that much. It hasn't really, has it? Yeah, it has done a little bit. Maybe I'll do 120. Whoops. Yes, now that expands, and then this doesn't look quite so awkward down here. Let's try to do do a little bit less elastic here, and then try to give it these normal lines on all the outsides here. I'm thinking. So like all of this, all the elasticated bits here. Oh, hang on a second. Oh, this bit doesn't have elastic. This bit did, but this bit didn't. Huh. Well, we want them all to either have less or no elastic. Why are you not showing up anymore? There it is. So this and that. Okay, no elastic. I don't know. What you prefer? I kind of liked it more open like this. Hang fishing weights on her butt. I love it. Make it the fisherman's suit. Do I? Oh, I can't do that, can I? Can I? Can I do that? On multiple pieces at the same time? Offset as pattern outline. Can I really do that? With internal line, 5mm? Oh, yes. Oh, that works. Ooh, that is nice. So this and that then. Cut and sew. Cut and sew. Check. Also cut and sew. And then this and that. Make do not export. Now we have that normal edge again. Good stuff. So let's do the underarm pieces here. This. Cut and sew. Yes. Make invisible. Aha. And then we have the corresponding piece here. Pattern outline. Cut and sew. Do not export. All right. Back piece, or like underarm piece, which is that's on the other piece, isn't it? Yes, on here. Like this and that, and technically also this and that. While we're there, does that work? Pattern outline, really? Yes. Oh, nice. Does it cut and sew if I do multiple pieces like this as well? Because that's just so complicated. Yes, it does. Oh, look at that. Sweet. Oops. Did you cut and sew? You didn't cut and sew, did you? Ha! I thought you hadn't. I thought you hadn't. Like this and that. Cut. No, you must have. But if you had done it, I would be able to separate the piece, which I cannot. So there. Okay, Alex's last assignment. Okay, nicely done. You take care, Camilla. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate that. Oh my, it's the 3D Megaverse in the house. John, welcome. Goodbye, Camilla. Hello, John. Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm so glad you could say hello to one another. That's very cool. And good luck, Alex. Absolutely. Woohoo. The star pupil is blossoming. Do you know, I owe it all to you and Chris and Christina, what I know about Marvelous Designer. And I'm just implementing your tip of the external normal lines to make it look a little bit nicer. And Marvelous Designer, I have a small disagreement in that I said cut and sew, and it kind of disobeyed me. There we go. There we go. So that was one bit was still a little bit connected there. So let's go file that under do not export and swiftly move on with this here. How are you doing, John? Offset as pattern outline, check. Where did this piece go? Hang on a minute. We need to do that separately, and there we go. Sometimes it just behaves a little weird. Yes, and then we go do that. Let's say cut and sew, and we do this here too. Cut and sew, and boom. Okay, goody. I'm hoping I'm doing it right. John, I've got some very exciting information that came directly from Marda. Marda has watched our last Daz Plus stream and she really liked it, but she said you can improve the Genesis 9 fitting somewhat, and she gave me some tips on how to do that. I haven't practiced that yet, but it has to do, essentially she was saying that that what we were explaining was that you can add like a male and a female fit morph into your clothing. And she says that is not necessary because those shapes are example shapes only. They're not supposed to be shapes people would dial in. They're literally just examples. So it's all about the base shape, about the androgynous base shape and how to make that fit more or less perfectly. And the script we looked at last time, I now know how it works. So we can talk about this in our next meeting, because she says I know, Marta, right? And she says it's important that the base shape fits perfectly, and that'll make all other stacked up morphs fit better as well. And if we implement that, then testing have a much easier time to push products through. So that was an interesting conversation we had. So I'm looking forward to trying it out and then spreading the word. That was the deal. I learn how to do it and then I tell everyone. So I thought, yeah, that's good. We can do that. Right, me too, absolutely. It's all about sharing the knowledge. That's right. And thank you so much for saying goodbye, Camilla. I really appreciate that as well. And enjoy Subnautica Below Zero. That's the bottom here, and that is the bottom here. Perfect. So then we go and just add that last outline here. I'm doing this correct, right, John? That I'm saying, I'm selecting the bottom piece and then I'll say offset as pattern outline. I'm going to create an internal line like so. Give it a second. And like here as well. Pattern outline. And then I'm going to cut and sew that. And then the falling off piece that we've extended, that goes into the do not export invisibility pile. And that gives us that nice normal edge, right? Just checking. Because it's my recollection of that is a little vague. It kind of looked good. It kind of makes sense. It also lines up with what Chris frequently does. And I often didn't really know what that was about. But now that I'm implementing it myself, I'm thinking, yes. Do you know the other thing we can try, if we're still not happy with the way this fits here? We could actually give her a waistband. So like this transition from heavily fitted to lots of gathering. I'm thinking we could give it like a tiny waistband here that would just help transition from one to the other. I'm thinking. Is that a possibility? We could go on, instead of the elastic up here, we'll do a little bit of steaming here. Could also add additional steaming here. even though I do like the gathering effect, but just to make that fitted a little better. Think about it for a second while I, thank you, John, while I go visit the gentleman's room, and I'll be right back. What did I miss? What did I miss? Let me go and catch up on the chat. The seam lines on the skirts pants don't have to go into the invisible material because you see those seams in real life. But then if I wouldn't do that, then we need to have two, don't we? We need to have one to simulate the seam line, and then we need to have another to give it that nice rounded edge normal. Technically, you'd need to have two. You can, yes, like Christina says, Bob, you can totally do that. Seam taping. Ooh, what is seam taping? I don't know what that is. That sounds interesting. Riverthorn, I didn't even know you were here. Hello. Hello, hello. I didn't see you there earlier. Wonderful to see you. And, you know, goodbye also. But good to see you. I didn't see you there. I'm sucking on auricular Schweizer Kreuzerzucker, as they say. I thought maybe that'll help my throat a little. But I do apologize about it banging against my teeth. Okay, do you know, Christina, if you have issues, then you can always sign up with another email address and jump into the Discord. Okay, so a seam taping. John, tell me about that. What's that all about? What is seam taping about? I've seen the tool up here somewhere. Seam taping, that's the one. What do we tape to what? Is this something scary? Because literally, like now that Christina mentioned it, this actually makes sense. So I'm gonna go and put this and that back into the flounce whoops, sorry, back into the flounce, dude, like that. So that could be a seam. I like that. But now, of course, we have the same problem at the bottom of that. It's now just like flat. So I either need to add myself another invisible outline so that we have that nice piece there, which is very good point. Oh, it strengthens the edge. Oh, so if I were to go and add that on this edge here, let's say seam taping. How do I do that? Just select it. Kind of shows up in here. Oh, so you just select the seam taping tool and then you do that, and now it's taped. It strengthens the edge. Yeah, so now we have this, but ideally I need now another piece to simulate literally that effect at the bottom here, right? I'm thinking. On edging, oh, that's what it is. Right now I understand it, because that is actually tape that you usually use your iron to tape it on the backside. That's seam taping. Okay, I see. Oh, good luck. So it looks like you're working on it. So yeah, I understand. I mean, the email is also associated to many other important things. Good luck with it. I see, right. It's just a tick box here in seam taping. I think I've seen that as well. Like here it is. I might just leave it on. I kind of like the idea. But also, I suppose I'm still thinking about that other line here. I could just go and say, I could just use this line. I'll use the outline as I did it, and I'm going to go and offset as internal line 5 millimeters into... Was that going the right way here? No, it didn't. Yes, that did the trick. And now I can go and cut and sew that as well. And now I have that. No, that's not actually the same, is it? Duh, what am I talking about? Let me just go undo that real quick. Because that's not the same, is it? So what I really want to do to get that outline here is I'm just going to go and do the same as I did before. Pattern outline this. Thinking about it. The double was nice. I can always bring it back. Yoshi liked the double. Cut and sew. And that's the effect I was after here. So that goes into do not export. Perfect. Yeah, now we have that nice little edge here. I can always turn it into double later. No worries. And there's now that. And then that. And did we cut and sew? Yes, we did. And we just go and make that invisible. Yoshi liked the double. Technically, you could literally do that on all these lines. Because I don't mind having an additional, seam line up here. Did we make a decision on the waist? Are we okay leaving it like this? Or do we want to introduce a waistband? Part of the attraction was that it doesn't have a waistband. And then a tiny bit of steaming action here. I thought that might just help fit that a little better. This could put a little zipper on here. I think there is one in the original dress, because this is a tight-fitting thing, I think, at the top. Come on, bring out the steam tool. And John has so much. I mean, his store is ginormous. You better be too perfect than not pay attention to detail at all. Okay, so save, as Brian would say. J, save. Let's see what the steam tool can do for us here. Steam. First we need to find it, don't we? So like this piece here is that. That and that and that. Right, this is this. Yes, that is that. Cool. Size is probably okay. Hardness is... let's see what happens. Are we simulating? No, there we go. Is anything happening? I can't actually see it going on there. Is anything happening? Is it working? I don't think it is. No, it is. It's just very... it's just very subtle. Yep, something's happening. And I also had ideas. Yeah, that just improves the fit here. I don't mind a little bit of buckling here. That's okay with me. I'm okay with that. But just to improve the fit a tad. Just to get rid of some of these things on the side there. Yeah, perfect fit. And this already has elastic in it, I think. Nancy, that's wonderful. But that's all, you know, if you can't do that, then, you know, my mom does this as well. She turns old outfits into new ones and wears those. Like, very nice, a good talent to have. I could add a little bit here, but I think I'm not doing that. I like the gathering. I just wanted to fix the buckling, so not bad, not bad. So it's probably more this than here. Invisible or not, I suppose that piece has some responsibility there as well. It's almost like the top piece here didn't need it, but I think it just tidies this bit up. Hey, not bad, I have to say. I have to say. Oh, the Marillion song. I was gonna ask you that at one point. How interesting. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Is there anything else we could improve? Because I think, you know, since we have another 20 minutes or so, we can at least try to make a nice render out of this, perhaps. I don't mind the colors. They're just like for demo purposes. We can probably just put a pattern on it, and maybe then in another session we can worry about stitches in Substance Painter, or even Substance Painter / Marvelous Designer. I'm kind of, so I'm really intrigued about this. I really like that, and I'm thinking, just because I like the look of that, I'd love it if we just introduce the same thing here. So it's not really that big a deal. We just offset this by 5 millimeters as an internal line and cut and sew that. That would just, I think that might look cool. I don't know. Or maybe I'm just looking at the detail too much. I think that could just be nice, I'm thinking. Faf and Singer, my goodness. I do remember those names. Show us a picture. Show us a picture when you have it, Christina. So that's just here, isn't it? Let's try it out. Let's save first, and then we try it out. See if we want it. And they look beautiful. There's a clothing store here. I don't know if it's still around in Miami Beach, but one of their, I forgot their name, but one of their traits was that they had literally 50 or 60 of the old manual sewing machines just in the display. And that looked so cool. I forgot what they were called. It's one of those high street brands, you know, where every shop has that, and I don't know where they got all these things from. Offset as internal line, 5 mil. It works, check. Does cut and sew work on multiple pieces? It does! Alright. Yeah, just that effect here. This is rad. And now I know that it works on multiple pieces. I could have done the whole skirt in one go, I suppose. Internal line, check. Thinking about it. Oh, it's Yoshi who owns it. Oh, okay. Sorry. I misread that. Tready Singer. Wow. So I've only ever known electric sewing machines. So don't you think that looks kind of cool? This having this and that. Now that's almost like what Yoshi was saying. It is a double. It's just in a different position. It's actually so cool that I'd love to introduce that here and there as well. Because I think that would just make such a difference. Let's make it happen, yeah? Let's offset as internal line. On all of these things. Wow, I can do it on all of these in one go. That is actually really cool. As like a final pass. That's sweet. Cut and sew. There. Oh, wow. That's cool. You almost now, once again, you get away with with just having a normal map with a pattern in there, that just gives that a little more to look at. But that combined with the hard normal lines, that's awesome, isn't it? Oh, the 33 assets from Fugazi, which you're planning on using for the fluffy render challenge. How exciting! Oh, you are? Oh, wow. Retopologizing. Wow, what are you using for retopoing? Let's do that here as well then. It's almost like, do we want to do that here on the strap as well? Ah, man. It's these tips, sometimes you hear a tip and you think, that sounds complicated. Why do I need that? Is that really necessary? When you get addicted to using it everywhere, yeah, Jay, it's easy to overdo it, you know? So maybe not with 5mm here, but maybe halving it, having a sewing line in there. Oop, that was here, right? Ah, now that's an interesting one we're going to have to look at when we simulate that. The steam that I had on here, is that still on this piece? Just out of curiosity. No, steam has kind of gone away from this completely now. Or do we need to simulate that for this? Yeah, oh, I see. So when I put that line in, the steaming has gone away. I didn't know that. Okay, good to know. It's also super easy to bring it back as the final pass. It kind of makes sense. It makes sense. I just didn't know that. Alrighty, then this here. That's on the back piece, isn't it? So let's fix the second. That was the second front piece. So now the back piece. Both pieces need to have that there and there. Okay. It's easy to overdo it, Jay. Right? I'm thinking that as well, Yoshi. It always surprises me when, like, I started this morning thinking, man, it's one of those days, only half the stuff that I thought was going to work is actually working. This is just going to end in disaster. So this is kind of that was my vision for this morning. I was thinking, yeah, this could get rocky because many of these things I just really didn't know. And now that I'm getting into it, I'm thinking, oh, give me more. So now then, since this is looking really cool, do we want to continue that trend over here? And how's that going to work with the straps? Because they're relatively slim to begin with. I feel like the straps should also have something like that. If we can make that happen. I don't, Nico. No, I don't have symmetry on. I think on my previous effort I tried that, but I decided not to do that. It's also these things. So since we sewed this and that onto the strap before, now that this and that became internal lines, Marvelous Designer has done an awesome job here at just extending those sewing lines here onto those pieces. That is beautiful. I mean, so sometimes we don't give it enough credit for, well, why is it taking so long? I mean, it's just doing a ton of calculations here. Strap. How thick is the strap? 10. So I could probably get away with one 5mm line in the middle, I'm thinking. Hide seams too. I like the seams. No, let's make the seams show up. For sure. So which Which part is that? That's like from the, let's do it from the inside, and then this is that here. Yeah, let's try that. Let's try that. So this was the inside, and that's the inside. Yeah, perfect. Oh, beautiful. So from here, internal line. No, actually, be clever about this. Select both of these. Offset both. Then we're almost in the center here. And maybe I'm overdoing it here with the normals, but I'm really addicted to this. This is really cool. Let's do one more in the back here, and I think then we're totally gonna stop. How do you hide seam lines? If I'm putting them all in and I'm deciding, hey, on a few of them, maybe that's just a bit too much. Cut and sew. It's just, I find that now it really has a finished look to it on the outsides, don't you think? As if somebody has done a huge amount of work, I mean, which is, you know, the case. And we need to bring the steaming back here, because that got lost. Oh, hang on a minute. That's not showing, so we'll have a look at that. This is showing. Yeah, that's not showing. Let's just bring that back. Oh, you know, show. Oh, we haven't done it there. Yeah, we've done it here. I haven't done it on that side. Could have sworn we did. Z is the correct key for this. I thought we had. So if you're like really experienced, you just select all the pieces where you want this done in one swoop, and then just have Marvelous Designer just go and do this at the end. Now we have it. Ha! Super happy. Let's look at it in pretty vision. Yeah, so steaming here and also on the little pieces to improve that. That maybe we do the opposite. We kind of like go steaming the other way, so that we increase this part a little bit, so that it doesn't ride up there. Or also we could just increase the rounding on this piece. We could just make it, instead of straight, we could just round it down a little. That'll bring the skirt down. Because the front looks cool, but the back, I think, could do this with pulling down a tad. That might actually be the easiest way to do that. Just bring this point here down on both them points. Not that, actually these points here. By, let's say, 5 millimeters. No, not 500. 5 was probably enough to begin with. Give it a second. But I don't think there is elastic in there. Is there? Is there? I'll have a look. I didn't think there was. Is there elastic in here? Oh, there is. Didn't I do that for a reason, though? Good point, Brian. Let's go take it out and see if that actually improves things. In my the U shape. No, the U shape, I like it because it introduces this gathering here. I do like that there, so I want to keep that. It's just this bit here. I just want to improve that a little bit. Is that still in pretty vision? Yeah, let's go switch that off. Yeah, so maybe just another 5 millimeters. didn't want to overdo it, like... Oops. Yeah, try 50. See what that's like. There. Relaxed fit. That'll be $50 extra. Okay, one final pass at the steam tool, and then we're going to call it a day. The steaming that has gone away here because I was putting more stuff in and all that. UV mapping, we'll talk about a different time. Steam, so I'll add that here and in these pieces as well. Ha! That is sweet. That is here, good stuff. Just checking. It's so subtle. Sometimes I'm thinking, is it actually doing something? But then when it turns a little bit bluer, you know it's doing stuff. Haha. A really subtle effect, isn't it? It's like magic. And then we'll do the same thing here at in this area at the top on both sides. Magic that. It is a bit like playing a game, this, isn't it? To be really brutally honest, this is really just like a video game, this. Just with the difference that at the end, not a nicely looking bass in Subnautica comes out, but, you know, a nicely looking Garmin comes out. Hey, fitted. I'm chuffed, I'm chuffed. Productive gaming, right? Exactly. Another flip side is that's already taken care of. Good stuff. The wedgie. Okay, let's have a look at the wedgie. I think that's okay now. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. Well then, so in the next session, I suppose we should take care of UV mapping and putting some materials on. I'm not going to do that today, but this is a very productive session. I think this looks almost better than my first attempt. So I think most of it fits nicer. We've got these additional little sewing lines here. That is quite nice. Oh, it's almost like, this needs to have the bottom material here, this line. That should really have the blue rather than this material zone. That's probably going to look better that way. That's easy to take care of. Oh, there's also the slippage and stuff that we can play with. Just small adjustments here to put that over a little bit. No, not that. Don't do that. Oh, okay, don't do that. Come back. Jay, you've ruined the garment now. You've ruined it. Come, bring it back. You've ruined it, Jay. Yeah, that's probably the way to go. It would not like that. More like that. Or reset the pattern piece. That's also possible. Whoops. We'll worry about that another time. So okay, fine. The strap keeps go. That's okay. Fine. We'll worry about that later. For now, not bad. I have to say, not bad at all. Oh yeah, just the material here that I wanted to take care of before we go fix the top strap there. So that was just this edge here. That and that needs to, and then that needs to be that material, just for it to look swisher. Okay, righty, so I'm going to leave it here and I'm going to say goodbye and good night. I might even render out a little 360 turntable for us to watch later. Thank you so much everyone for being here. I really appreciate that. This was really nice. You're welcome, Christina. Absolutely wonderful to have you back in the midst. I'm so glad you could make it. Thank you so much for everyone's tips and donations. Super appreciated. I think Chris isn't streaming today. He was streaming twice yesterday, but I think he might be back tomorrow at around lunchtime, 1-2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, something like that. I'm keen to finish this off, so I wasn't able to do a Twitch session myself last week, but I'm trying to do this, let's say tomorrow. I'm really excited to get back into this. So 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join me on the Twitch if you can. If not, totally fine. I will present you with the final result on the socials, because you got to have the socials. My friends, have a wonderful rest of Sunday and take care. Bye-bye.